Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Raw, the Real Authentic Woman podcast. I'm your host, Lana. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to say that every time. It kind of feels weird, but whatever. Anyway, we're going to jump right into it today, okay? I'm just going to jump right in. Oh, my cat just fucking sneezed. Okay, anyway. Let me ask you guys this. Do you remember that feeling as a kid when you learned how to ride your bike for the first time? Do you guys remember how freeing and how captivating and just exciting it was all at the same time? Well, okay. I feel like that is a similar feeling to when your soul has a dream. Let me explain. Today, I want to explore the truth about following your dreams. And I'm going to be real, I'm not talking about, the fairy tales and, the fantasy of it all, okay? Obviously. But I will say there is that kind of beauty like essence to this experience overall, because I really do feel like having dreams and following your dreams brings a lot of beauty into your life. And sometimes it's layered and you have to look a little deeper, but that's what we're going to do today, because ultimately I want to remind you all that having dreams are so important. And we're never too old to have a dream. And in fact, we should be open to them, because at the end of the day, at least I believe that dreams lead you to the real you. Wow, okay, I got a little deep there, but I'm going to just jump to the first point. If the dream that you have isn't something you're afraid of, it's not big enough. Okay, so let's unpack what that feeling feels like when your soul receives a download, when your soul receives a dream. It's like this. Maybe you encounter an experience that just impacts you so greatly, right? Like you feel it in your chest, you feel it in your bones, it's like when you hear somebody speak and you're like, oh my God, that would be so cool if I did this one day. Or you go to a concert and it absolutely changes your fucking life. And you're like, damn, one day, what if that was me up there performing, It's that feeling that seems like it's way too scary to even think that something like that could be possible. But I'm going to tell you right now, that feeling, it's not nothing. That's the universe, that's your higher power nudging you to explore that thought further. And in order to get my point across here, I really need to tap into my own experience a little bit to really bring home what it is I'm trying to put down here, okay? And honestly, that really starts with the first dream I ever had. And let's be real, as a child, this is crazy. I would say I have always been very much a dreamer. I was the kid that dressed up as Hannah Montana, threw a concert in my backyard, acting like I was performing in front of 50 million people. You know what I'm saying? Okay, 50 million is a little crazy, maybe more like 50,000. But that was me, you know what I'm saying? I had the leopard print wedges, I had the frickin' microphone headset. Like, I had the whole nine, babe. And that's just who I was. I dreamed big. But it wasn't until probably the 5th grade that I feel like I had a dream that was really tangible and that I felt like was attainable and that I was passionate about. So let me just set the scene for you. POV. It's the summer before 6th grade. And at this point, I'm being big sports girl right now, you know. Like, basketball and volleyball are my shit. And my mom was just putting me in all these sports camps. But there was one camp that just shit on all the other camps, okay? This volleyball camp, I show up. It's run by 3 Western Michigan volleyball players. And when I tell you, I have never been more of a fangirl in my entire life. Like, I mean, I was obsessed. I'm, 11 years old, and here are these 3 women just being athletic as fuck, And I just thought, wow, how cool. Like, they're just the coolest people I've ever met in my life, especially at that age. And I was so impacted by them. And to this day, I still have the volleyball that they signed. To this day. Crazy. Anyway, that fall, I ended up going to watch them play volleyball. And I just remember walking into that environment and just being in complete awe of the arena, of the fans, of the level of play. I mean, I was just struck by like pure amazement. And I remember looking around and just saying, I don't care what I have to do. I have to play here. I have to play here. So, voila, a dream was born. But with that dream followed immediate fear. I was like scared that I wasn't going to be good enough, that I wasn't going to be tall enough. The list, it goes on. And it wasn't until my dad kind of dropped some hard truths on me that I was really able to ground some of those fears. And listen up, because this next part is important. The 2 most important ingredients on the path to success are self-belief and discipline. Okay, I'm gonna say that again for, dramatic effect. Okay. The 2 most important ingredients on the path to success are self-belief and discipline. There is nothing that the outside world can throw at you as long as you practice and stay consistent with these 2 principles. I'm telling you. When that dream to play Division I volleyball came to me, I sat down with my dad and he said, this will be the hardest thing you ever do. And if you want this, you have to put in the work and you have to believe. And I was like, all right, bet, let's do this. Not knowing just how hard this shit was actually going to be. Okay? And granted, like, I did put in the work and I might have struggled a little bit with consistency and, but at the very least, I always showed up and I tried my best. I put in work after hours because I knew I was going to have to work harder than most. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't built like a fucking D1 athlete, bitch. I was lucky if I was going to hit a 5'7". Like, the hell? And along the way, I had so many people who tried to rob me of my dream. I had people who cut me from teams because I was too short. I had people tell my dad that I'd never make it to the next level. I even had a girl, this one's crazy. I had a girl laugh in my face when I told her I wanted to play at Western. Crazy. All that to say, those experiences hurt, sure, but my passion for the sport just shined way brighter than any of the shit that people had to say to me. Because volleyball, for me, that was my happy place, It was a place where I could escape to, and it quieted my mind and allowed me to be so focused on the present moment in a way that I just never had been before. And it was a feeling that I craved. I mean, I still crave that feeling when I play sometimes, you know? So I wasn't about to let anyone take that shit away from me. I was like, nah, fuck you. Like, I'm doing this, you know? And let me tell you something. I was more afraid of the what if than I was of failing. Because if I failed, then at least I'd know. But if I never tried, then I would always wonder, what if? And that shit fucking terrified me. When your self-belief is stronger than your fear, you begin to transform your life in real time. Of course, you know, you're still going to have to put in the work because discipline complements progress. You can't just wish for the results. You got to put in the work, right? All right. Now, I know you all are dying to know if I played at Western Michigan or not. The short answer is no. I did not play at Western Michigan. However, okay, I did make it to Division 2. I mean, shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars. Am I right? And listen, I had to take a different route than most, but eventually I made it to the big leagues. And this was a big accomplishment for me. And I was extremely proud of everything I had done to get there. But fuck, I was not prepared for what came next. Like, let me tell you. The moment you accomplish your dream, that doesn't mean that your journey stops. Let me explain. Once you've accomplished what you've been working toward, that doesn't mean the work is done. The journey continues. When I finally made it, I was so wrapped up in the excitement and the idea of what I thought this accomplishment would feel like and look like that I wasn't being present in what I was actually experiencing. And as soon as I got to the next level, everything became harder. The level of play, the training, building relationships with my teammates, balancing school and a sport. I mean, all of it just got 10 times harder. And I remember being so incredibly frustrated because I had worked my entire life for this moment to play at the highest level and compete with girls who were just as good or better than I was. But it just wasn't living up to the expectation that I had in my head. So I became so attached to what I wanted the experience to be that I wasn't just allowing myself to see the experience for what it was. And of course, you know, I turned to my dad because I was like, dude, what the fuck? This shit sucks. And he just said 3 simple words to me that honestly I still live by today. He just looks at me and goes, embrace the suck. And then of course he had to quote my fucking favorite movie of all time. Super overused quote, but relevant. He said, if it wasn't easy, everyone would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. I said, fuck, bro. You about to hit me with the League of Your Own shit? Like, come on now. But he was right. You know? Just because I finally made it doesn't mean that this shit was going to be easy. You know? Only like 2% of people make it to Division 2. That's fucking hard, bro. So that's what I did for the last 2 years of my career. I embraced the suck. And to be honest, it really did suck because COVID robbed me of my senior year, but that's a story for another time. What I'm trying to say is that reaching your dream is one thing, but embracing the challenges is just another part of the journey, and we have to lean into it. I know that that's easier said than done, but it's true. Eventually, I realized, long after I graduated and I had time to reflect, And please, I know this is cliche. Okay, just let it be. But I realized that, oh, maybe it was never about the destination. Maybe it was always about the journey. Jesus, I'm killing it with the fucking Tumblr punchlines today. Lord. Anyway, seriously though, it's one of those things that you hear when you're little. You're like, yeah, whatever. But then all of a sudden, you're a young adult, 25 years old, and you're like, fuck, my teacher in gym class was right. Damn it. Gotta love being an adult. Anyway, I would not be the person that I am today if I didn't follow that dream as a little 11, 12-year-old girl. And now that I've lived that experience, I look back and I realize just how grateful I am because of it. The thing about dreams is that it's a continuous journey. And just because you reach where you were aiming for, that doesn't mean that the journey is now finished. If anything, it's just beginning. So remember that. All right. So what have we learned? Well, dreams are sacred. They're a part of who you are. You know what I'm saying? And they should not be something that you ignore. Believing in yourself will get you farther than the fear of failure. And as long as you work hard, the universe will reward you. But just remember that sometimes it's not the destination. It's not everything. It's really the journey that makes it all worth it. Okay? Now, one of the greatest pieces of advice I've ever received was from a woman that I hold very dear to my heart, and she has been an amazing mentor to me as she now owns her own social media company and high-end vintage shop. I asked her one day, I was like, how did you have the courage to do all this? And she just looked at me and she said, sometimes you just have to be delusional and just do it and lean into the unknown. And I was like, damn, bitch, okay, guru, like what, period. But she's right, The real challenge is actually following through with your delusion and trusting the process even when it gets tough. So that's kind of where I'm at now, I have no idea where this journey is going to take me. I'm fucking terrified. But for whatever reason, I feel called to do this. And that's something that I just can't ignore anymore. So I'll leave you with this. Who you become as a result of the journey is who you were always meant to be. Don't dim your light out of fear of the unknown. Okay? Your dreams aren't just something that's made up. It's not just make-believe. They're a part of who you are, and there's a reason why you feel called to do something. So, I challenge you all to dig deep and remember or find what is that one thing you always wanted to do but felt too afraid to do. Fucking go do that thing. Go do that thing, girl. Go do that thing. Because life is too short, It's too short. And I believe we were all sent here for a reason, and we were all given the gifts that we were given to go out and do what we were meant to do. I'm sounding crazy. Okay, I need to stop. I'm reining it in. That is all I have for you today. I think I've said my piece. Dare to dream. Ew. Okay. I'm seriously done. I'm really done. I'm sorry. I had to sneak one more Tumblr quote in there. I had to make it even. So, anyway, I will see you all next week. Okay. Peace. Bye.